Good afternoon or morning, everybody. My name is Tammy Cadess-Lucy. I'm a member of the class of 1981 and the graduate class of 1982, and I have the distinct privilege of serving our alma mater as the alumni director. It is such a pleasure to welcome you home. This has been a very tough week for our family, and I think that this weekend was really needed from the spiritual standpoint more than anything that anybody could imagine. So from our amazing students who have bolstered us up with the home show and with our athletic contests, and all of you being home, please know how very grateful we are. I know last night's gala was just spectacular. I've had lots of reports of dance sightings, and I'm looking forward to reviewing social media after these proceedings. To all involved in last night's gala, congratulations. I know that that was just an incredible jewel in the crown of Springfield College. It is really an honor to be here to award, or part of the award ceremony, for 4 true sons of Springfield. They embody everything for which Springfield College stands. To help us get started with the honoring of these 4 distinguished alumni will be our MC, Trustee Kurt Asherman. Kurt is a member of the class of 1971. He's a former Alumni Council member. He received the Distinguished Alumni Award in 2006. Most recently, a couple of weekends ago, during a fabulous baseball reunion, we had the honor of naming our ability field the Asherman Family Field for all Kurt has done to serve our alma mater. Kurt also is the pastor of Christ Church in Luckett, Virginia. So Kurt, as you approach the podium, I just have to scratch my head and ask, why are you here on a Sunday?
Well, good morning, church. We're going to talk about Jesus today. Wait, that was a sermon from 2 weeks ago. You know what's interesting about, the reason I asked Tammy to make sure to mention this is that I am what's called a lay pastoral leader for an Episcopal church. So the Episcopal church has a system for in-between priests licensing lay people to run a parish for a period of time so they can get ready for that. So I'm at meetings all the time with people in suits and collars and miters and all this kind of stuff. And they inevitably say to me, so where did you go to seminary? Where'd you get your MDiv and your doctorate? Which seminary? And I love being able to say, you know what's coming, right? I have a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education from Springfield. So I'm glad Tammy welcomed you all. This is the 689th event of the reunion weekend. We're trying to break the 1,000 mark next year. This is just going to be a very, very fun morning, afternoon for us to celebrate 4 of our really, really successful, but more importantly, good people who came from Springfield College. And so we're going to do this by inviting them to come into the room, and the pictures of their lives are over here. I understand they're all worth looking at and not too shaky sometimes. You know, these folks were here in the 60s. And you'll also note, by the way, that they have written a statement and their bios are in your little booklet. So the intent of that is that you can learn more about them than you're going to get from their 2 and 2.5 hour speeches. So let's start and bring our honorees in one at a time. And the first one is Dan Warren, who is from the class of 2006. Dan is not able to be with us today, but his brother Joshua is. They hail all the way from Eagle River, Alaska. So please welcome Joshua Warren on behalf of Dan Warren. Now we have 2 distinguished alumni awards, or alumna awards. These are alumni awards because they're both males. And the first one, someone I know because I was here when Rick was here, From Honolulu, Hawaii, please welcome Rick Blanchiardi from the class of 1969. And also, a second distinguished alumnus who I know pretty well because he's also a member of the Board of Trustees, from Oakville, Ontario, from the class of 1972. Please welcome John Walker. John's been here all weekend, that's why he's walking even slower. We're all tired. And finally, our Tarbell Medallion recipient is Matthew Siegel from the class of 1994, and Matthew hails from Ringwood, New Jersey. Matthew Siegel. And so to kind of begin the proceedings for us today, I have the pleasure of introducing Alex Goslin, who is the student trustee on the Board of Trustees. You may not be aware of this, but for 50 years, Springfield College has always had a student on their Board of Trustees. These, by the way, are voting members of the board. They participate in everything. And one of the best we've ever had, I think, is our friend Alex Goslin. And Alex is from the class of 2020. She's a student athlete who represents the Pride on the basketball team. And she's providing opening thoughts for us this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is, Alex. You're on.
Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I ask that we please bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, thank you for allowing this group of people to come together this morning and celebrate Springfield College and its mission. It is because of the dedicated and committed alumni that our college can continue to grow. The individuals being honored today have represented Springfield College so well in not only their careers, but also how they live their daily lives. God, let us open our minds and hearts to these folks as we can learn so much from the example they have set. Through their work as alumni, they have paved the way for many more to follow in their steps and continue the legacy they began. Let us recognize the uniqueness of this institution and what it embodies. For the people here are what continue to spread our school beyond Alden Street and beyond our occupations of choice. It is our value and inner value of leadership and service to others that has allowed members of our college to impact the community and the people who didn't get the privilege to be a part of the special opportunities we have here. As we celebrate these alumni awards this morning, let us reflect upon the works of these distinguished individuals and honor the value each one of them has. To be honored out of the vast successes our alumni share is quite an accomplishment. As we continue to navigate through this challenging time for our community with the passing of Connor Niche, let us keep his family and friends in our thoughts and prayers. It is our hope that the community can continue to come together and be there for one another as we mourn his loss. Let us be reminded to not take this life for granted and to cherish the precious moments we share with the ones we love. Let's enjoy this program laid out before us, connect with one another, and be grounded by our missions, passions, and goals as we continue to share this special place as a community, as we are reminded that this life is so much bigger than ourselves. Amen.
I rest my case. So last year, I think it was last year, we started the process of having students introduce the honorees rather than old people like me, which is a lot more fun. One of the things about that is the students get to know the honorees ahead of time so that they can prepare their remarks. It's kind of a great connection between alumni and the honorees. So our first one, in order to present the Young Alumnus Award, and I can't believe I get the chance to do this because we talked about it last night at the gala. Shamar Martin, who's the class of 2020, who is also the guy who blocked the punt with 11 seconds to go with a half, recovered the ball. Shamar is a U.S. Army specialist, plays football for the Pride, obviously. He's introducing our Young Alumnus Award recipient, that is sponsored by the class of '66. And the Young Alumnus Award recognizes a member of the class who graduated between 10 and 15 years ago and who has made a significant contribution to alma mater and has excelled in their chosen profession. Would you please welcome to the podium Shamar Martin, class of 2020.
Good morning, everybody. Before I go, I'd like to please ask Joshua Warren to come up, who will be representing his brother who couldn't be here, unfortunately. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have the tremendous honor of introducing the Young Alumnus Award recipient, a truly inspiring and influential serviceman who has dedicated his entire career towards leading, helping, and protecting those around him. Captain Dan Warren, a Springfield native, graduated from Springfield College in 2006 with a degree in Emergency Medical Services Management. He spent most of his 4 years on campus as a member of the Springfield College men's swimming team and as an EMT. Captain Warren entered Springfield College with 2 years of service in the Air Force already. Upon graduation, Captain Warren attended the U.S. Air Force Pararescue Indoctrination Course, the Air Force Combat Diving School, the Air Force Non-Commissioned Officer Academy, the Community College of the Air Force, and lastly, received his commission at Officer Training School in Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama in October of 2015. Throughout his 19 years of service in the Air Force, Captain Warren has been involved in several joint task forces, recovery missions, and deployments. When Hurricane Katrina struck in 2005, Captain Warren received a phone call from the squadron. Just 18 hours later, he deployed to Louisiana, where he provided aid for thousands of victims on the flight line at Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. Most notably, in 2013, he initiated the first ever walking blood bank in Djibouti, Sudan, when the CV-22 aircraft came under heavy fire, suffering damages and casualties. His pararescue team was able to transfuse blood to the injured Special Operations Forces Airmen. Captain Warren's efforts throughout his military career have earned him the 2018 Alaska Air National Guard Company Grade Officer of the Year, the 2018 176th Wing Grade Officer of the Year, and the Bronze Star of the Valor Device. Captain Warren is also a recipient of the National Aeronautic Association McKay Trophy and has been inducted into the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. During his time at Springfield College, Captain Warren was mentored by several members of the Springfield College community. Representing Spirit, Father Leo Orr taught him to find the best in humanity all over the world and taught him hope. Representing the Mind, Springfield College Paramedic Program Director Bob Hopkins taught him the skills to be the smart clinician he is today. Representing Body, Springfield College swimming coach John Tafe pushed him past physical limits and motivated him in ways that he could never imagine. In his everyday life, Captain Warren lives and breathes the humanics philosophy. As an Air Force combat rescue officer, he lives by the pararescue mission, that others may live. In his personal life, he practices the humanics philosophy by giving back to his community, spending time with his kids, and putting others before himself. Captain Warren's biggest accomplishments are his 2 daughters, Audrey, a 4-year-old, and Molly, who's just 3 weeks old. Captain Warren is extremely grateful for his wife, Sarah, who serves as a combat systems operator in the Air Force. When asked what advice he would give to current students, Captain Warren shared the following: carry the mission of selflessness, service before self, and the commitment to serve humanity. He says doing these things will manifest itself by giving back to others. In closing, throughout Captain Warren's career, he has connected with Springfield College alumni all around the world, from those serving in the military in Afghanistan and the Middle East, to even those physical therapists and athletic trainers who helped them heal after surgery in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome Dr. Rich Whiting to come to the stage and help us in presentation of his award. unfortunately couldn't be here today.
Hello everybody, from my backyard here in Eagle River, Alaska, joined with my three-week-old daughter Molly. I want to thank everybody, thank the Alumni Association for this award, for the 2019 Young Alumni Award. I'm honored that my name was recognized amongst such an incredible pool of talented alumni affecting the world today. I unfortunately cannot make it. Accepting the award on my behalf will be my brother Josh and my father Ray. But I want to say thanks again on behalf of myself, my family, all the Warren chapter here in Alaska. We love you guys in Springfield. We can't wait to make it down there in March to give you all a hug. But enjoy your brunch, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again for this award.
Joshua Warren, Dan's brother, is now going to say some remarks.
Good morning. Morning. Well, on behalf of the Warren family, thank you very much for the honor here. So, as Dan mentioned, he's about 4,000 miles away in Eagle River, Alaska. My dad is 1.5 miles away, and I'm 6 miles away in Long Meadow. A little bit easier for us. And as he mentioned, he has a 3-week-old daughter, and is also getting over a case of pneumonia. So. We look forward to giving him this chair and sharing the award when he's back here very soon. So, my dad and I were reminiscing about Danny in his high school graduation 19 years ago. And I think it's an understatement to say that an award like this, if we thought he would get an award like this in 20 years, was somewhat an unlikely scenario. We'll spare some of the details. But I think that Danny always had an amazing imagination. He dressed up as Superman going into school for a few years, and he's actually become a version of that. He found his calling in the Air Force, and certainly in Springfield College, and this is where he started his journey to become what he is today. And I couldn't be prouder of his service as an airman, as a husband, as a father, as a brother. And although I don't get to see Dan as much as I'd like to, with my frequent international travel and his deployments and his location, I'm just glad that I got a chance to meet some of the people and be in the institution that helped shape him what he is today. So thank you. And I want to read a few words on his behalf that he wanted to share. In the summer before my senior year at Springfield, I was working during the alumni weekend when the call came. It was my Air Force Reserve Squadron commander at Westover. She asked if I could deploy to Louisiana to treat evacuees in distress 3 days after Hurricane Katrina. 18 hours later, I was on the flight line receiving patients at Louis Armstrong Airport, providing medical treatment and triage to hundreds. Soon after I arrived, I was invited into FEMA critical care teams stabilizing some of the most medically unstable evacuees coming in by helicopter. Both the regional FEMA commander and the team supervisor were Springfield College instructors. They were Bob Hopkins, the paramedic program director, and paramedic adjunct instructor, Rob Luchrist. As a Springfield College student, I looked up to both of them. We had spent many hours in simulation labs on campus, covering pathologies that we were treating now together on very real patients with very real consequences on an airport tarmac. We were now peers working together on one of the nation's largest disasters. This is my first real Humanics in Action day. That trip to New Orleans was a seminal event in my life for many reasons. This experience gave me a very clear understanding and appreciation for just how special the Springfield College community is. No matter your chosen career, if you attended Springfield, you likely have chosen to be a service to others. Springfield takes raw potential and instills a notion of serving humanity by encouraging an investment in the spirit, mind, and body. We learn humanity and placing service before self. In short, Springfield trains servant leaders who affect real change. When I reflect on my path shortly after high school, I see a high school youngster who believed in spirit, mind, and body, but the proportions of each were way off. I went into the military at age 18, and that changed my view of service and my place in the world. The college saw some potential in me. It certainly was not my exemplary high school academic record. I am grateful for the confidence the college showed in me and the investment that they made in me. There were three important catalysts that helped build my foundation of mind, body, and spirit. Bob Hopkins trained me to become the clinician I am today. I used his approach of ingenuity after mastery to apply the first ever walking blood bank during a combat mission gone awry in South Sudan. 3 Navy special operators owe their lives to the fundamental teachings of Bob Hopkins. I use Springfield College approach to medicine on every mission I put hands on a patient, from Red Devil, Alaska to Marja, Afghanistan. My swim coach, John Taffy, exposed the depths of my own physical resolve at the bottom of the Art Linkletter pool every morning. Bottom. I am still able to withdraw from the lessons every time the walls of fatigue start to close in and failure is not an option. Father Leo Hoare inspired me to find hope for humanity even in the darkest corners of the earth. His work in Haiti and our weekly talks inspired me. I try to embody Father Hoare's approach to serving others with a smile when life is at its most fragile, the opposition is brutal, and hope is in short supply. The achievement of the school is in the body of the alums and the impact that they have on others in need. My peers are Olympians, world-class clinicians, therapists, military officers, and educators who are shaping a better world. After my graduation, my dad had a stroke. It was a Springfield physical therapist who rehabilitated him back to medaling every year, swimming at the Massachusetts Senior Games right across the street. When I had a reconstructive shoulder surgery and attended the world-famous EXOS facility in Pensacola, it was the athletic trainers and physical therapists from Springfield who got me back in the fight. Every alumnus I meet, from Connecticut to Djibouti, is at top of their games affecting change. I'm humbled to be counted amongst them. Thank you for the recognition for my small contribution towards humanics. I am exceptionally grateful to be acknowledged amid so many talented graduates. I'm honored that I could carry the legacy of Springfield College's mission on my journey to service others. Sincerely, Dan Warren, Eagle River, Alaska.
You can leave. We should make sure to acknowledge Joshua and Dan's father. So the Distinguished Alumnus Award goes to 2 Springfield graduates each year, and it's given in honor of professional excellence, outstanding achievement in their field, and service to community, state, and nation. Sounds like the mission statement of Springfield College. So the first Distinguished Alumnus Award will be presented by Justin Riggins. Justin is an exercise science major, a student assistant working with the offensive line on the winning football team yesterday. Let's say hello to Justin Riggins.
Thank you very much. Will the Alumni Council President, Mr. Robert Bobby Mosca, class of 1997, please join me in presenting the 2019 Alumni Association Award. Next, will Mr. Richard J. Lengiardi, class of 1969, please join me at the podium. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to thank everyone for being present at this event for this phenomenal ceremony. I would like to also thank our phenomenal alumni staff for allowing me to have this opportunity to present this phenomenal award to a phenomenal man. To start, once again, my name is Justin Riggins, and I'm a 4th year student at Springfield College. Being a member of the Springfield Collegiate Football coaching staff for the past 3 years, I cannot express to you how important it is for me to give an award to a former football coach. Springfield College as an organization encompasses and thrives in so much. For this reason, it would only make sense for our alumni to be capable of exceeding in all ventures they wish to partake in. From being a coach, Mr. Blangiardi applies his mastery in decision-making to his current venture at Hawaii News Now. His passion, his valiant effort has allowed him to seek success in each competitive market. He's proven his greatness and always allows for others to learn. What I personally have learned from Mr. Blangiardi is that hard work will and always will be the key to success. Mr. Blangiardi always wishes to give back to the community. Day by day, the actions this man takes to make the earth that much of a better place is outstanding. He stands firm behind the advancement of our society and finds no job should be ever overlooked. An example of this is how he is a proud activist and a stern believer in the equality for men and women, and his efforts have also garnered national attention. And this is the difference. This is why Mr. Blangiardi is who he is. He is a man of the highest class, a man who epitomizes success, and is a true role model for the college. It is now my honor to introduce the 2019 Distinguished Alumnus Award recipient, Mr. Richard Blangiardi.
Well, good morning and aloha. Now, in Hawaii, if I do that, I say aloha, you say aloha. Justin, thank you. Thank you for that very thoughtful and heartfelt introduction. I'm just going to be brief up here this morning, which is not usual for me, the people who know me, but I promise you I will be. But one thing I really especially want to do is introduce the most important and special person in my life, my wife, Karen. All right, so there's a typo in the book. I don't know if you take the time to read it, because I alluded to the fact that I arrived here in 1966, but it was actually 1967, the summer of 1967. 1 month, roughly shy of my 21st birthday. Prior to that, I had 13 years at the Sisters of St. Joseph down in Cambridge, Massachusetts, a year at a military school, Naval Academy Prep School, and 2 years at the University of Hawaii. And I showed up here as a transfer student with the notion that I really wanted to coach college football. It was the one thing I discovered that I had a passion for. I was really good at playing the game. It just seemed to be the thing I wanted to do. And everybody told me in my transfer efforts that this was the place to come. And I will tell you, I was not unlike a lot of people in the mid-60s, almost 21 years old, pretty lost at the time. Thinking I, was trying to be the first in my family to go to college, thinking I was doing the right thing, never really sure about anything up until I arrived here. And here is where it all came together for me. Now, last night I heard several people talk about what a transformative place Springfield College has been for them and for many, many others. And truly, I can tell you that's what happened for me. So there's just a few names I want to say here today because they deserve to be said. Because first of all, I had the great privilege of playing for Ted Dunn, who was really a remarkable man. And I coached college football during my 20s, and his impact on me had so much to do with what I subsequently did and learned. And great humility and great toughness all rolled into one. I also was a transfer guy. I didn't get to wear the beanie on freshman year and walk around. I was sort of the outsider, and lucky me. But lo and behold, some guys who were the big men on campus brought me in as their friend and ultimately their roommate. And so I lived with Billy Horgan, who was the captain of the team. Al Cece was a great multi-sport athlete, and Tommy LeBlanc was actually the person who nominated me for this award. And those three guys really, they probably should be here more than me today, because they embodied everything, and I've stayed in touch with them about this school. I mean, their values, their principles, everything. I mean, these were guys that I just couldn't believe that had accepted me the way they did. And so, in their legacy too, for all of that stuff that we went through together, on and off the field, in and out of classrooms, and everything else we did in those years, I'm honored to be here today. So I would just tell you that Justin mentioned servant leadership. And we didn't use the word humanics that often when I came to school here, but I learned a lot about what that meant and what it meant to serve a community. And so my career has been earmarked by that. Extraordinarily pleased and privileged to live in Hawaii. We enjoy a wonderful life out there. Very proud of the men and women I get to work with and the things that we get to do. So it's with all of that and all the people who got me here today, even the people who made the decision to get me up here, I don't know, but I thank you. I could not be any more honored in this moment, or have a sense of privilege about being part of Springfield College. Thank you so much.
We always like to make sure that we talk about the well-roundedness of our alums and those who are receiving awards. And I asked Rick if it was okay if I tell this story after he received his award, a story that he does not remember. I was a freshman, maybe a sophomore. Rick was the stud on the football team, one of the studs on the football team. Al Cece also captained the baseball team that I was on. And I attended an off-campus event. And Rick Blangiardi is the first person in the history of Springfield College, and the first person for me I ever saw crush a beer can on his forehead. Lengthwise. And it wasn't aluminum. Rick was great and a star. So our next Distinguished Alumnus Award will be presented by Jim Kastrenakis of the class of 2009, graduate class of 2020. Jimmy is a former standout of the Springfield College football team as well, and is pursuing his MBA. Jimmy, join us at the platform.
Will Mr. John H. Walker, class of 1972, please join me at the podium? My name is Jimmy Kastrenakis, and I have the privilege of introducing one of this year's Distinguished Alumni Award recipients, John Walker, class of 72. John Walker is a registered professional planner in the province of Ontario and a member of the Canadian Institute of Planners. He received a bachelor's degree from Springfield College and a master's degree in environmental studies from York University in Ontario. John has a 40-year history in urban planning, energy security, and power plant development in Canada as well as internationally. He was a founding director of the Greater Toronto Airports. John was a co-founder and founding director of the Borealis Infrastructure Fund in 1997, which is now owned by the Ontario Municipal Employee Retirement System. John has worked in the financial service industry as an investment banker. John has also served on the board of directors of Sheridan College and was president of the Canada Sri Lanka Business Council from 1994 to 1997. From 2012 to 2017, John was managing director and member of the investment committee for Kensington Capital Partners Limited. He was responsible for Kensington's infrastructure business. John was also chairman of the U.S. Geothermal Incorporation from 2003 to 2018. Currently, Walker sits on 4 different boards of trustees: Springfield College, Turniff Atoll Trust, WaterTap, and Kensington Capital Partners Limited. John lives in Ontario with his wife Jane and has two daughters, Hillary and Shelby. I've had the privilege to speak with John over the past couple weeks and ask him a few questions regarding his time here at Springfield College. So after chatting about some people that have influenced him here, he mentioned people by the name Dr. Martin Dossick, sociology professor, Doc Brainerd, biology professor, and Dr. Hirsch, who taught social work. One of the best things John took away from Springfield College was the teaching of management skills, the theory behind how people interact with one another. John quoted, "Springfield College taught you how to get the most out of yourself and the people around you." 2 accomplishments that John is most proud of are through cross-border activities. The first is overseeing the construction of the $4.4 billion terminal complex at Toronto Pearson International Airport in 2004. The second involves taking a geothermal company from $0 in net worth to over $200 million in roughly 16 years. The company was later sold to Ormat in Nevada and is now the world's largest geothermal company worth over $1.5 billion. His fondest memories of Springfield College has to do with living in the dorms. I asked for permission to share the story. One day, John and his roommate headed to the back of Alumni, where they climbed the smokestack. One of them held a bucket of paint, while the other one painted the class of '72. Lastly, John wanted to leave some advice for Springfield College students and future alums. He stressed that life is a case of go with the flow. People will be working on jobs in the future that don't even exist yet. Realize that change will occur and to constantly be looking for new opportunities. I am so proud to present Mr. John H. Walker, the Distinguished Alumni Award.
Thanks, Jimmy, for those kind words. I went around the back of the smokestack the other day just to check it out. And I would make sure that nobody tries to climb it today. It's not safe. Thanks, Jimmy, for that introduction. You're very kind, and thank you all for coming. I also want to thank my wife, Jane Allen, who's sitting over there, who's with me today, and my daughters, Hillary and Shelby, who are not. They're both getting married next summer, and they're tied up. They've heard all my stories from Springfield ad nauseum. They are also a big part of my story. I'm deeply moved to and honored to be receiving this award. It's really something. And I'd also like to, I got a surprise this morning. My roommate showed up. Scott Kingsley, could you stand up? I've been seeing Scott for about 45 years, so it's quite something. You know, Springfield's always been a big part of Canada growing up for me. I was a Y kid. I started boxing at the Y at 4 years old. I went to summer camp for 13 years at a Y camp. There was always somebody wandering around camp with a Springfield College t-shirt. This was in Northern Ontario. So I spent time at the Y summer camp and on canoe trips. That was my life. I was a terrible student at high school. You know, in Springfield also, besides Jim Nesmith inventing basketball here, McGill University used to play hockey here every year until the 50s, when I think they abolished the hockey program. But there was a big connection between McGill, Harvard, and Springfield in the early days. Just missing a page here. You know, I was never a really good athlete at Springfield. I tried out for lacrosse and soccer. I was a wiped out within the first week. I did, however, learn how to play racket sports, and I still play competitive badminton to this day. I'm still too young for pickleball. You know, Scott and I, in our sophomore year, started the Springfield College Ski Club. Basically, we used to rent buses and take kids up to Mount Snow, and then be back to Cheney Hall before 6 o'clock for a steak or lobster dinner. I'm told that doesn't happen today. We also were involved in competitive canoeing, and we entered a pre-Olympic trial, and we won it out here, doubles on Lake Massasoit, but we couldn't afford to go to nationals. So that was the end of it. But we got a gold medal, the only one I ever had. I was planning to work for the Y when I graduated, but Springfield had other plans for me. After doing an internship at the New Haven Redevelopment Authority in New Haven, I decided to continue as an urban and regional planner. I'd like to tell you a little story about how one of my courses really affected me. In my sophomore year, I was taking a group work course, learning about relationship theory and how people interact. And I worked at another camp at the time, and I went home and said to my director, you know, I'm not sure we're training counselors properly at this camp. I think we should develop an outpost and take our young counselors in training up for a week of intensive group work. The next day I was on a float plane with a real estate agent looking for properties in Northern Ontario. The next year, we had a new outpost called Redstone up and running, and we trained our counselors for the rest of my career, and now it still runs. So that was pretty important. Group work, that group work course, you know, it's in social work, but it was actually one of the best business courses I ever took, because it allowed me to learn about how to get the most out of people, how to understand relationships between people, and how to make sure they excel at what they do. The humanics philosophy for me was everything. My education at Springfield allowed me to, first of all, look at projects and ideas from a variety of perspectives. It enabled me to be different. It also enabled me to look at problems from different angles. There were not too many graduates of Springfield College in Toronto when I went there to do my master's degree. So I was a rare species. I started out working as a town planner and then quickly joined a utility company, doing community impact studies. Within a couple of years, I was running around the world selling energy goods and services to the World Bank in Washington, and I got to work in 80 countries. It was a lot of fun. I then started my own company in business diplomacy, which was basically troubleshooting for companies who got themselves into difficulty overseas. I then joined an investment bank, created the infrastructure fund you talked about. And along the way, I got involved in this airport authority, bringing in a $4.4 billion project on time and on budget. And I used to get nervous when I was spending $6 million a day. It was a problem. The only cost overrun we had was 9/11. We had to put up some glass partitions to keep Americans from Canadians, from Europeans and Asians. And it was a $110 million cost. After 9/11, I decided to spend more time at home and started this geothermal company, which we mentioned. And, you know, we started with 50 megawatts in the, you know, a few holes in the ground, and created a 50 megawatt company, which we sold last year. Springfield College, the humanics philosophy really is all about sense of community at the end of the day. I've had a career of lifelong learning, lifelong exercise, and now I spend a lot of time with Mother Nature fly fishing. I try to spend as much as I can out in the bush. And we talk a lot about mental health the last couple of days. We've heard a lot about mental health in Springfield. I mean, you know, if you've got problems with mental health, come fishing with me. You won't have a problem. Being outside with eagles and birds and bears and cougars and all sorts of other insects are a lot of fun. I owe a lot of my achievements to my life at Springfield, my classmates, staff, and professors, and my family. And for that, I will be forever grateful. Finally, I would like to say very simply, the world needs more of Springfield College, a lot more. Thanks.
You had me on the fishing, John, till the bears and cougars. So our Tarbell Medallion is the college's way of saying thank you for outstanding service to the college by an individual who graduated more than 20 years ago. Tarbell Medallion will be presented by Gabby Gerard, and she is a communications and sports journalism major, and she's also the editor-in-chief of the Springfield College Student. And before she comes up, if you're not reading that newspaper, you need to. It gets better every day. Please welcome Gabby Gerard.
Mr. Matthew Siegel, class of 1994, will you please join me at the podium? So, when I was first asked to introduce Matt, I couldn't have been more honored, especially when I learned that he was a former editor for The Student. As someone who has newly become the current editor-in-chief, I knew that we would have an instant connection. What I didn't realize was how deep this connection would be. When I frantically asked to reschedule our phone interview due to the events that occurred last weekend, he immediately understood, and he sent me a simple, "Good luck with the story." But he didn't stop there. By the time I woke up Monday morning, I had a lengthy email waiting for me in my inbox, filled with advice on how to approach challenging situations and stories of how Matt had handled several of these during his time as an editor at Springfield College. Our times in this role may have been 26 years apart, but you would never know it. And for a moment, it was like he was part of our team. I never asked for the advice, but I didn't need to. He knew. That's the Springfield College way. Leadership and service to others. And Matt has lived the humanics lifestyle ever since he first put on his Springfield College beanie. During his time on Alden Street, Matt was very involved. He started the sports management club just 2 weeks into his freshman year. Started his radio show, Sports Rumble, with Rob Bradford. Spent time helping other students as a tutor. Worked in the print shop. Worked contest management. Became a pre-camp leader. Was the vice president for SGA. Led his intramural field hockey team, Flavor Ice, to 5 championship titles. Was an avid Study UK Games participant. Oh, and he was up until 3 a.m. every week putting the newspaper to bed and driving the pages to the printer in Chicopee. And I thought I was busy. Since graduating in 1994, Matt has continued to stay involved with the college as a former member of the Board of Trustees, an alumni council member and former president of the New Jersey Alumni Association Executive Committee, and he also helps interview prospective students and mentors a current student as well. But above all else, Matt has focused on raising his 2 sons, Danny and Timmy, with his wife Trisha, class of '94, in a way that encourages giving back to their community and fostering a positive attitude. Matt believes that every morning you have the opportunity to set your attitude and to choose to have a positive outlook, no matter what lies ahead of you. And every morning, Matt chooses to live the Springfield College way. Please welcome class of 1994 Tarbell Medallion honoree, Matt Siegel.
Gabby, thank you very much for that warm introduction. And, I have my comments double spaced. Well, Gabby has hers triple spaced, so I feel pretty good about my eyesight, which is great. But wow, the Tarbell Medallion. It's an honor I'm extremely humbled by. Wow. First, I'd like to thank President Cooper, Tammy Canis-Lucy, Maria D'Agostino, distinguished guests, Dr. Flynn, Mimi Murray, and everybody for being here. My parents, my mother Susan Reed, thank you for coming today. My father Harry Siegel, class of 1965, he couldn't be here today. He does live 8,000 miles away, so it's a little bit of a trip, so I can certainly understand. And my in-laws who couldn't be here, John and Judy Gray, but I certainly know that they wanted to be here as well. Deb Siegel Kumar, my sister, class of 1992. Deb, thanks for coming. My class of 1994 friends, I'd be remiss if I didn't start off with you guys as well. Brady and Lauren Kittredge, Mark and Amanda Cicciarella, and all of my classmates that are watching on Facebook Live right now. Thank you guys. And I do appreciate all the texts, emails, and notes I've received over the past couple of weeks. I love you guys very much, and I'm extremely grateful for the lifelong friendship. And of course, my family, Danny, my oldest son who couldn't be here, he's a college freshman. Not here, unfortunately, at Springfield. He's a biomedical engineering major at the College of New Jersey. My son, Timmy, love you, buddy. Thank you for being here. High school sophomore. And his friend Ryan, who's here, he's like a third son. I feed him just as much as my other 2, so he's certainly in the mix as well. And of course, the class of 1994 president, my wife, my best friend, and my partner. I told you I wasn't going to cry. I'm forever grateful for what we have, but without the partnership we share, neither of us would be possible to do what we do for our family, for our community, and for Springfield College. So I love you. I'm just getting started. Don't give me the look. I'm sorry. But also congratulations to the other award recipients today, Richard Blingardi and John Walker, distinguished alums. I'm awed and inspired by what you've accomplished. And our young alum, Josh, I know you're here accepting on behalf of your brother, but what a career he's already had.
in service to our country. It's awesome. I'd also like to recognize other Tarbell Medallion recipients in the room. My son Timmy's a high school sophomore. He's playing high school basketball this fall. And he had a basketball game today and he's reluctant to miss it. And I said, well, just tell the coach that your dad's receiving an award and the first recipient was James Naismith. I'm sure he'll understand you're missing a basketball game today. So, but as I scroll through the list of previous Tarbell honorees and winners, it's awe-inspiring. It's a who's who of Springfield College alum. So I certainly congratulations and thank you very much to all the previous Tarbell winners. So I'm going to start with a story I was reluctant to share, and I have to say, why am I even up here? I didn't even want to come to Springfield College. I know it's a bold statement in front of a lot of Springfield College people. But I was a 17-year-old high school senior, and my father went to Springfield. My sister was a current student at Springfield. I'm 17. I wanted to create my own legacy and make my own mark. I was going to Villanova. But that fall, I came up to visit my sister as a senior. I stepped foot on campus, and I could start to see myself as part of the fabric of this college. And before I left that weekend, I made sure I made an appointment with Fred Bartlett to have an admissions interview on that Monday before I flew back to Florida. And I said, you know what, I'm coming to Springfield College. So Villanova be damned, I'm coming here. So with that, started my journey here at Springfield. I did get into Villanova, by the way. So, but when I came to campus as a freshman, I walked in, I was armed with a positive attitude and a great work ethic from my parents. They really taught me a lot. And because I came in with that work ethic to Springfield, as Gavin mentioned, I worked in the print shop for Dave down in the basement of Laughlin Hall. I worked for Frank Walcott in contest management, announcing baseball games and soccer games and gymnastics. And I apologize, Trish was a soccer player and I never announced when she came into the game, so I apologize now in public. The one game. She had bench warmer on her bag, but that's okay. She was a great goalie. That was from my in-laws because they were really upset with her for putting that on there. But I really took on a variety of roles here, and the other job I had was I worked as a tutor in the math department. Timmy, I know I can't help you with your math homework now, but back then I actually tutored students and actually graded papers for Professor Lajowska, who's still here today. But my work ethic was cemented back here at Springfield College. I know Springfield can be a magical place. Oftentimes it's hard for us to put into words what it means to us, but it's certainly a difference maker for so many. Pre-camp and NSO were eye-opening experiences, designed to bring people together and bond in ways that I never even knew existed. I mean, seriously, when they called out for an attitude check, I knew I was in the right place. Something I preach to my kids today, and Gabby even referenced, and I talk about it at work all the time, is you determine your own attitude. And that's the outlook that we bring to life, and that's a Springfield College perspective that a lot of people that are on campus here really carry with them on a day-to-day basis. My NSO leader on the session in the Ag Green, back when the Ag Green was only a small sliver of grass between the road that ran right through campus and the administration building, it's a lot more beautiful today, thanks to Dr. Flynn and what we've done from a fiscal plant perspective. But during that session, he talked about the fact that you could do anything and be anything on campus that you want. You have an opportunity to reinvent yourself in college. And I took that conversation to heart. I got involved. No way was I going to let college pass me by. So I was going to be an active participant. As Gabby mentioned in her introduction, I got involved, and it's continued since I've graduated as well. I continue to balance family, work, and community involvement, volunteering. The time that Trish and I give back into the community, it's an investment in the future. Whether it's Little League and running Little League or the Knights of Columbus or booster clubs or charity, a local board of directors at a local charity, we're setting an example in giving back. And for the record, I essentially do nothing in town compared to Tricia. Her list is a mile long of the things that she's involved in. Most notably the Special Olympics. She's a phenomenal volunteer for the Special Olympics. Her and my boys are coaches and unified partners for the Special Olympics. After I was notified that I was going to be honored with a Tarbell, I was joking with Trish, and I said, they must have tallied up the number of Twitter views or Facebook likes or LinkedIn messages that I send on how they determine this year's recipient. because I follow SC Alumni, SC Athletics on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, every sort of social media platform. I stay connected as much as I possibly can. My son Timmy and I even drove to Virginia 2 years ago for the Final Four. It was awesome to see the Springfield College basketball in the Final Four for the Division III. And back during my time as Alumni Council President, we often talked about those folks, if you can say Springfield College once a day, or even once a week. I don't know if you remember that, Tammy, but that initiative that we had about spreading the word of Springfield College and how it really would take a foothold and create change. Now, obviously that was before social media, so I'm dating myself, but we continue to do that every day, and I'll continue to share stories across all social media platforms, because I think getting the word about Springfield College out is tremendously important. And I love seeing everything that you're doing on Facebook and social media, Dr. Cooper, so it's phenomenal to continue to share that. It's because of Twitter. I've been able to organically connect with Jack Margaros, the sports editor of the paper. Gabby says, I'm not afraid to send an email, right, Jack? So, but I've been able to connect Jack with connections at Major League Baseball and Northern New Jersey newspapers. Even yesterday, a friend of mine from SNY, to be able to help him out with an internship, and I love it. I can't wait to see what Jack and Gabby do as budding journalists. It's awesome. With so many people putting negativity out in the world, it's really comforting to know that Springfield College continues in its mission to educate both the spirit, mind, and body. The college has its share of famous alums, we know, but more importantly, it has alums doing great things in communities across the country every day, helping make the world a better place. I truly believe that if you graduate from Springfield College, you're a difference maker and an ambassador of change. The college continues to evolve. Since I've graduated, Presidents Flynn and Cooper have done a tremendous job as stewards of this institution. From the brick and mortar, to the academic programs, to the ball fields. And wow, those ball fields are gorgeous. SC has come a long way in the last 25 years. I'm looking forward to and being a part of the growth of the college for the next 25 years. As I said in the beginning, I'm truly overwhelmed and humbled and grateful with the honor of the 2019 Tarbell Medallion, and I look forward to continuing to be able to serve the college in years to come. Thank you very much.
Now I think about the fact that I got one of these awards, I wonder how the hell did that happen? To listen to these speeches and listen to these folks. What we want to do right now, though, is to honor those who are in the room, or at least say thank you to those who are in the room who have won one of these awards, either a Young Alumnus Award, Distinguished Alum Award, or a Tarbell. If you're here, would you please stand so we can say hello and thank you. And now let's once more say thank you to the 4 honorees today who so beautifully representing what Springfield College is all about. With today's honorees, please stand for one more round of applause. So each year that when I get to do this, and I think this is 4th year, maybe 5th year I get to do this, I always get to introduce Mary Beth Cooper. She's been here 7 years, I've been doing this 4 or 5 years. And every year, Tammy, of course, gives me a script. You've noticed me flipping through the script. I've only read about a third of the script. Tammy knows that's going to happen. So I've got a bio here of Mary Beth. I'm going to read pieces of it, and then I'm going to tell you the real story about Mary Beth. So I'm not going to go through a bunch of this stuff, but Mary Beth has served as president of the college since 2013. Previously, she served as senior VP for student affairs at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, dean of students at the University of Rochester, and vice president for student affairs at St. John Fisher. President Cooper serves as chair of the board of directors of the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities in Massachusetts, and is also chair of the NUMAC Athletic Conference. She also serves, this is an important one, she also serves on the President's Council of the NCAA and boards of council of Independent Colleges, Community Foundation of Western Mass, Springfield Museum, Develop Springfield, the Naismith Memorial Basketball Museum, and the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. She earned her bachelor's degree from the University of Delaware, a master's from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, a master of business administration from the University of Rochester, and a doctor of philosophy and education administration from Michigan State University, and a doctor of management from Case Western Reserve. You'll remember the first comments I made to you. She and I have an equal amount of degrees. Bachelor of Science in Physics. I want to tell you just a quick story about Mary Beth before she comes up to speak to us. First of all, as a member of the Board of Trustees, I get the chance to work with her on it's almost a daily basis. There is constant communication with trustees. I've never met a human being yet in my 71 years who embodies Springfield College more than Mary Beth. She didn't go here. She got it right away. She has kept going right away. We had a baseball reunion a couple of weeks ago. Mary Beth showed up in torn jeans and high-top Converse All-Stars, sat on the ground with kids and played with the dogs and watched the teams. And Mary Beth really, really gets it. Here's one quick last story. When we approached the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation about helping us build this baseball field out here, Mary Beth came to the board of directors meeting of the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, which, by the way, is also a board that Cal serves on and attends. He's at every single meeting. Mary Beth has a special affinity to our friend Cal, and in fact, her son's named after Cal. But Mary Beth spoke about Springfield College at that foundation meeting, and then made the commitment that the college was going to build the baseball field, something we've been talking about for a very, very long time, and finally got accomplished under Mary Beth. And by the time she was done speaking, they invited her to serve on the board. And it was Cal that invited her to serve on the board. It's that kind of connection that Mary Beth is able to make with people like Cal Ripken Jr. and people like the students who are outside these doors or some of them inside this room every single day. She epitomizes who we are and what we are. And we are all blessed that she is the president of Springfield College. Mary Beth Cooper.
How nice. Really, I really don't have any more words after this week. It has been incredible. And to stand up here and see our students, Gabby is now on my speed dial. We did not share cell phone numbers until I think maybe Monday or Tuesday, but now she's just really like number two. It used to be Kurt, because when Kurt says we talk daily, we did talk daily for a long time about a lot of things, and I can't imagine working with anybody else but the students who, when I imagine 20 years from now, I don't think I'll be president then. I'm hoping not, but I might be. But I bet that somebody like Gabby or Shamar or the two other students, Jimmy and my dear friend, will be up here receiving these awards, right? I can see it. If I close my eyes, I can imagine 15, 20 years from now, because they epitomize, our students really epitomize who Springfield College is, and I have a chance to work with them every day. And the students are really great here, but then they become alumni and do amazing, amazing things out in the world and come back here and be recognized for doing what they learned here at Springfield College, or they learned before. We understand that students come here with a rich history of commitment to service because of the parents, all the parents that are here today. You did it before they came here and became a part of Springfield College. And so I'm so glad that you're here. As a mother of an airman that is in training at the moment and at another location, I'm very proud that your son continues to serve. And he's special, but he's also amongst Springfield College, who is all about changing the world. It has been a crazy, crazy week. And I've worked in higher education a little over 40 years, which is hard to believe. I started really young. And I've never, ever had a week like this. I mean, it has tested our humanity. We have been on a roller coaster of emotions. And even when when I think about last night, and for those of you that were able to attend last night, it was our very first President's Gala, and it is our last President's Gala, because we cannot top that. It was people coming together after a long, long week, celebrating each other, and celebrating where Springfield College is today, but more importantly, where it's going. Because we can look back on all the great things, and I'm delighted that Dr. Flynn is here and Janie. I mean, why don't you stand and get a round of applause? We sit in this room and we sit in this building that's named after Dick, and I say every day I got on a train that was moving in the right direction, and I really applaud all the work that you've done, and I bet it's really fun for you to see the fruits of your labor. And I know from my perspective, I am here for a period of time, and I'm going to leave this institution, but I'm going to leave it in a place that is from my perspective, just moving it along. Because the next president, many, many years from now, I'm not sure it's 20, but I'll get back to you on that, will take Springfield College and its commitment to the humans, the humanity, to serving each other. We don't take our work lightly, spirit, mind, and body, and service to others, because we know that it is what will change the world. And I completely agree with you, John. We need more Springfield College, more today than ever before. But I look out here and I see all these faces, and I thought last night that we were going to end this week on a real high note. I mean, it was needed, and it, you know, from my perspective, we raised $500,000 to serve our students so that they can continue to have a Springfield College education. But I was wrong last night thinking that that was a great way to end the week, because today was even better. To hear your stories and hear your commitment and how much Springfield College has made a difference in your lives makes me so proud to know each one of you and to know that you're going to continue to do good things. I have never been happier and more proud to be president of Springfield College. It is an honor and something that I don't take lightly. It means the world to me. And so I'm so glad to share this moment with you. And I want to thank Kurt for giving up so much of his time this weekend. He's been a good, good friend. I look out to my team members that are in the audience, the staff members that have been going strong since last Sunday, serving this community, and I can't be more proud to be the leader of this institution. So I want to thank each and one of you for this morning. I am in about 16 minutes going to be at my house. I've got a chicken in the crock pot. I've got the fire getting ready to get started. I've got corn chowder scheduled for an afternoon of just relaxing and thinking about this week, and thinking about each one of you that have contributed to really the tapestry of Springfield College. If you'd like to come over, you can't. I am a gracious person and I would love to include you. Maybe Kurt, you can come if you want, but you're gonna have to serve yourself because I'm about done. But I'm full of gratitude, and my heart is full with love for Springfield College, and I know you share that same sentiment. So safe travels, Godspeed, and thank you for everything that you do. Kurt.
So before we wrap up, and by the way, I am not going to forget for us to sing the alma mater this year. I have the last 17 or 18 years in a row, forgot to do that. It's on the back of your program, since I know we don't wake up in the morning singing a song for Springfield. But I also always end these award luncheons, or whatever, luncheon, breakfast, whatever this is, by giving you a little homework. A little homework, all right? You're part of the Springfield family. You've got a job to do. Between now and next year, I want to make sure there's been progress. A couple of things you can do. We need kids. The college had its best freshman enrollment year ever, or at least in a very long time. We filled the freshman class. Remember, the freshman class is the most important because you have 4 years of those young people to mold for us. And you all know people that are Springfield people. 3 summers ago, my children and I were on the beach in Cape Cod, and I saw a young man walk by, and I said, God, that's a Springfield kid. You can just see it. You can smell that this was a Springfield kid. I had one brief conversation with him. Hardly ever didn't talk at all about Springfield. Next summer I came back and his girlfriend had a Springfield shirt on. And I said, are you going to Springfield? She said, no, he is. So divine intervention works. But seriously, folks, we all can identify young people that you know are Springfield people. We need to identify them and push them in our direction. Here's the second thing, more involvement. If you haven't been back to campus in a long time, you see what a great place this is, you see what it looks like, you know what's going on here. We need you to be more involved. Not just in reunion weekends, but more involved in everything that's going on at Springfield College. And the third part of that involvement is, I'll be the one that says it, we need you to give. If you haven't given in the past, we need you to give now. We're about to embark on a campaign that's going to take Springfield College from right here to way through there. It includes a complete reimagining of the campus in certain places. The new applied sciences building, the things that we need to take that next step to be greatest rather than just a greater. And we need you to consider how you can help us financially with that. It's part of our job. Think about what the college did for you. Think about where you are now. based on what the college did for you. And remember, we take care of the things we cherish. And we all cherish Springfield College. So you've got your homework. You will be receiving emails from Mary Beth, checking in to make sure you're doing your homework. And hopefully when you come back next year, we honor 4 more wonderful, amazing people. We'll have had even more progress here at Springfield College if that is possible. So we are going to end with the song for Springfield. It's on the back of your booklet so that you can make believe you know the words and remember it. And to lead us in that is Emily Van Horn from the class of 2020. And she is going to lead us in a song for Springfield. So please stand.
Raise a song for Springfield, let hearts and voices blend.
You can be louder.
To celebrate her praises, whose fame shall have no end. While fellowship makes holy, while eager hope delays, and vision youth come thronging, her spacious days. Earth wide may happy childhood lift high its wandering eyes. Strong youth bring back the vision of earthly paradise. To follow truth to wisdom, nor faint through faltering fears. Be this thy task, O Springfield, through all the years.
Safe travel going home. I can show you the way to Mary Beth's house. And desserts in the rotunda, and here's a change for Springfield College. For those of us, Rick, from the old days, the bar is open. Be careful.